Welcome to another episode of This Isn't Television, so don't call them episodes. Oh my god. This is going to be another one of those videos where the aggravation that I experience every day just is so great that I can no longer keep it within me, and it just explodes forth like some sort of volcanic eruption or an ejaculation. I see and know of a lot of people doing stupid things, and I would like to address a few of those things. Usually I don't think I can affect any substantial amount of change, but I was hoping that I might be able to at least put a dent in some of the behaviors and activities that people partake in, which I think everyone should just stop right now. First of all, let's all stop saying, I'm not book smart, I'm street smart, with a proud face on. This isn't something to brag about. You're essentially confessing that you're not intelligent, and the most valuable information that you've retained has to do with what houses have the most relaxed drug policy. If you tell me that you're street smart with any smugness whatsoever, you've just admitted to me with confidence that your greatest strength is knowing where the best hookups are. Normally this comes about when somebody is questioning one's intelligence, so of course the natural response is to say to them, no, I don't need books, I'm road weathered. So that means that if we're ever accosted in a dark alley at 3 a.m., I know exactly which way to lean to make the rape less painful. While you were wasting your time in that library learning important things, I was busy finding out where to get a mean handjob for $1. So instead of holding on to any substantial knowledge, you're proud of the fact that you'd much prefer to know the fastest route to the club and back, keeping in mind that 2 blocks that way marks the territory line for Charlie the convicted sex offender. See that bus stop right there? That's where his perimeter ends, and he turns around to continue prowling more in the direction of his crawl space. And speaking of kids, if you have any intention on becoming a parent, take my advice and don't. Giving birth to a child changes your life in so many terrible ways. Childbirth is like the game-ending touchdown of the natural world. I don't understand how anybody could be interested in any kind of intimacy whatsoever after witnessing that terrible stage of the circle of life. If I were a woman, I'd think that the most sensible decision would be to swear off intercourse forever immediately after pushing a chunk of human being out of one or possibly both holes. When you write and pass a final exam, what part of you goes, sure, let's go back into that classroom and write that shit all over again? Unless you did really poorly on the test, so maybe if the kid came out deformed I could understand calling a mulligan. Like, alright, this one's pretty good, but I think we could do better. Let's try again and, just throw that one in the garbage. When I broke my leg, the last thing I wanted to do was get back into anything that had even the slightest possibility of causing me to fracture anything ever again. For months. So I can't imagine wanting to get back into the saddle after my dick and asshole explodes to make way for a tiny human being like some kind of skin-covered rocket launcher. And if you're set in your ways or have the misfortune of already being a parent, my advice is, if you let your child believe in Santa Claus after age 5, stop it. Especially if on Halloween you insist on checking all of your kids' candy before you let them eat it, because you're sending the kid mixed signals. How is it fair that you absolutely must check the treats that are given out by your real actual neighbors with whom you're likely on a first-name basis, but then just months later you celebrate the arrival of a fat stranger who sneaks into your house at night bearing a striking resemblance to a homeless man in a tracksuit and leaves behind boxes that he wrapped himself in a warehouse? If that's not bad enough, he knows your entire family by name? Like, you think your offspring can't sleep due to excitement, but in reality, they're up all night because they're fucking terrified. And speaking of Christmas presents, don't spend retard-level money on something that would cost less to make yourself in both currency and time. I saw a $15 coffee mug with a huge, loose, dangly nutsack on it, and I almost bought it, but then I realized that it would cost me a third of that for the markers and blank mug required to make that myself at home. Plus, I get the added bonus of saying, see those balls? I fucking drew those. And if you're like me, you don't get a chance to say, I fucking drew those balls enough in your everyday life, and you gotta fill that quota somehow. And you can't buy animals with big dicks on the internet. I mean, you can, but it's probably frowned upon because everybody knows what you're gonna use those for. So there you go. That's all the advice I have for people I likely hate. If you like this, go watch my other stuff. Look at the other things. They're all here now, just look at them. Well, maybe go to some of them. I'm really bad at this part. Leaving.